वेलकम गाइस टू आवर चैनल बोइंग 737 एट FAP एविएशन। आज हम इस वीडियो में बात करेंगे मेमोरी आइटम्स अबॉर्टेड इंजन स्टार्ट। बिफोर रनिंग आवर चेकलिस्ट आर मेमोरी आइटम्स, we will cover these three topics to better understanding of aborting engine start conditions. Number one, engine start procedure, normal engine start consideration, and then thereafter the conditions for which we do the aborted engine starts. Panel and parameters to observe, air conditioning packs जो हमारे forward overhead panel में होता है, engine start switches again forward overhead panel में, then engine parameters in our upper display unit and lower display unit, and engine start levers in our control stand. In engine start procedure, normally we check with our ground personnel. When we are clear to start our engines, we start our engines, we announce our engine start sequence, generally number 2 followed by number 1. We put engine air conditioning pack switch to off, air conditioning pack switches to off, then engine start switch, let's say it's number 2 engine start switch to ground. We verify N2 RPM increases, N2 RPM we can observe in lower DU. So when it increases and reaches to 25% or at maximum motoring and a minimum of 20%. तो generally हमारा 25% पहुंच जाता है, and at this time we put engine start levers to idle detent. As soon as we put it to idle detent, fuel walls हमारी खुल जाती हैं, walls के through fuel flow होता है and EGT बढ़ता है. We check it here, EGT keeps on rising. We check for the fuel flow also. It's the duty of the P2 to put the timer on for 15 seconds. If it does not rise, EGT does not rise in 15 seconds. It's a condition for aborted engine start which we will talk about later. We call it wet start. In normal condition, in 15 seconds, EGT continues to rise. We monitor it. As soon as it reaches, N2 reaches 56%, N2 reaches 56%, engine start switch move back to off position, and we call it starter cutout. At this time, start valve open alert extinguish and engine start switch moves to off. We also monitor N1, N2, EGT and fuel flow for normal engine start consideration. We also check our oil pressure is normal when our engine has accelerates to stable idle. जब हमारा एक इंजन स्टेबल आइडल हो जाता है, then we check with the ground again, clear to start number 1, and we repeat this cycle for number 1 engine. When we call our engines are stable at idle, this is very important to know this note. Engine is stable at idle when EGT start limit, engine start limit red line is no longer shown. So this start limit red line. So when it is extinguished, we call it engine are stable at idle. So this is normal how it works in engine start procedure. इसमें हमें कुछ बातों का ध्यान रखना होता है when we are doing the engine start. First of all, the cockpit should be sterile at this time. If ATC calls us, we need to ask him for standby. This is our duty. We should not let any interruption in this procedure. What all other consideration we take care of? Do not move the engine start lever to idle detent early or a hot engine start can occur. So early means जब तक हमारा N2 25% RPM achieve नहीं किया है, या जो हमने नोट में देखा मैक्सिमम मोटरिंग 25% अगर नहीं पहुंच पाया है तो मैक्सिमम मोटरिंग विद द मिनिमम ऑफ 20%. What does that mean? हमारा N2 एक्सेलरेशन जो है वो बढ़ा नहीं है 1% से ज़्यादा इन अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 5 सेकेंड. मतलब 5 सेकेंड हो चुके हैं, मिनिमम 20% रीच हो चुका है और वो बढ़ नहीं रहा है. ठीक है गाइस, तो उसको भी हम मैक्सिमम मोटरिंग बोल के हम इंजन स्टार्ट लीवर्स को आइडल डिटेंट पे ले जाते हैं. इससे पहले हमें इंजन स्टार्ट लीवर को आइडल डिटेंट पे नहीं ले जाना है, अदरवाइज हॉट स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. वी नीड टू टेक केयर ऑफ दैट. सेकेंड, keep a hand on the engine start lever while monitoring RPM AGT fuel flow until stable. So generally कैप्टन हमारे Boeing के philosophy में कैप्टन इंजन स्टार्ट लीवर को आइडल डिटेंट पे लेके जाते हैं. तो in sim training when you will be acting as a captain, you need to consider this statement very seriously, because any condition which we will discuss in this video, aborted engine start, if those conditions occur, we should not move our engine start levers to idle. And in line flying also, or in training flights, captain will ask you, what do we all monitor while engine start procedure? So we monitor RPM, AGT and fuel flow. This is what they want to hear. Next, if fuel is shut off accidentally by closing the engine start lever, do not reopen the engine start lever in an attempt to restart the engine. तो अगर गलती से इंजन स्टार्ट लीवर जो है आइडल डिटेंट हमने किया बट वो दोबारा ऑफ में आ गया, तो हरी में हमें उसको दोबारा आइडल डिटेंट पर नहीं करना है. नेक्स्ट, फेलियर ऑफ इंजन स्टार्ट स्विच टू स्टे इन ग्राउंड अंटिल द स्टार्टर कट आउट. आरपीएम कैन कॉज अ हॉट स्टार्ट. तो जैसे हमने इंजन स्टार्ट प्रोसीजर में देखा, व्हेन N2 रीचेस 56%, हमारा इंजन स्टार्ट स्विच जो होता है वो ग्राउंड से ऑफ पोजीशन में आ जाता है और हमारे स्टार्ट वॉल ओपन लाइट जो है वो एक्सटिंग्विश हो जाती है और इसको हम बोलते हैं स्टार्टर कट आउट. सो लेट्स से हमारा जो है वो ग्राउंड पोजीशन में नहीं रहता, उससे पहले ऑफ पोजीशन में आ जाता है. देन डू नॉट री एंगेज द इंजन स्टार्ट स्विच अंटिल इंजन आरपीएम इज बिलो 20% ऑफ N2. तो हमें वेट करना है कि जो मेरा N2 है, N2 की वैल्यू 20% से नीचे जब तक ना जाए, हमें ऑफ पोजीशन से ग्राउंड पोजीशन पर नहीं करना. So this is again an important statement. It will be handy when you will be doing the engine start, aborted engine start checklist after completing the memory items. Then instructor will ask if mistakenly आपने उसको off position से ground पर किया and वहाँ पर आपका N2 below 20% नहीं था, then instructor आपसे बहुत ज़्यादा गुस्सा हो जाएंगे, because this is a consideration we should be aware of. So now we come to aborted engine start, कि जब हम engine start procedure हम कर रहे हैं, so when we do the aborted engine start memory item, so on the ground an aborted engine start condition is needed. तो हम engine start कर रहे थे और हमें aborted engine start की condition मिली. So what all are these condition? Aborted engine start conditions are hung start, pressure does not increase, oil pressure doesn't increase, wet start and hot start. So what all are these? We will discuss one by one. Hung start is when N1 or N2, so N1 or N2 doesn't increase or increases very slowly after AGT increases. तो AGT कब increase होता है? When N2 has reached 25% और maximum motoring और हमने engine start lever को idle detent पे लिया. So now N1 and N2 should increase. It should be our normal procedure. But if they are not increasing or increasing very slowly, so this is a hung start. So this is one of the condition we should do the aborted engine start memory item. Second, there is no oil pressure indication by the time engine is stable at idle. So let's say N1 N2 तो increase हो गए, मगर मेरे EGT की stable idle condition meet हो गई, हमारे start limit line जो है वहाँ पे visible नहीं है, मगर मेरा ऑयल प्रेशर रजिस्टर्ड नहीं हुआ है, तो इसका मतलब है अगेन दिस इज aborted engine start condition. Then wet start. AGT does not increase by 15 seconds after the engine start lever is moved to idle detent. So when we observe 25% of N2 is reached, and remember we as a P2 we have to start our timer. When we start our timer and within 15 seconds, when captain has put engine start lever to idle detent, so this timer we need to monitor for 50 seconds. In this 15 seconds, AGT should register. There should be increase in the AGT. If it doesn't increase, it means it a wet start. There is no combustion at all. Next, AGT quickly nears or exceeds the start limit. So what happens? Our AGT, when we put engine start levers to idle detent after 25% of N2, so AGT increases, but increases very fast, and it exceeds its start limit value. So it is a hot start condition. So again we need to do a memory item for all these conditions. So now we will go to our memory item. What does it say? Aborted engine start condition on the ground and aborted engine start is needed. For all these condition हमें aborted engine start करना है. ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? टू शट डाउन द इंजन एंड मोटर इट. तो इंजन को शट डाउन करना है और उसको मोटर करना है. ठीक है. सो व्हाट द एक्शन इज इंजन स्टार्ट लीवर अफेक्टेड इंजन. लेट्स से नंबर 2 इंजन जो है हमारा, हमें इसको शट करना है, कट ऑफ. सो वी जस्ट पुट इट आइडल from idle detent to cut off position, and at this point as a P2 we are handling the radio. We inform the captain. Captain confirm you have controls. Captain says I do have controls. Then you inform the ATC telling we are doing the aborted engine start due technical. Then thereafter you run your checklist, QRA checklist. Captain calls, do the aborted engine start checklist, and you run your aborted engine start checklist. After announcing captain confirm you have control, you have radios. So this is what do they expect in your simulator training and in upcoming airline trainings. So with that we have completed our memory item aborted engine start, and we have talked about engine start procedure and normal engine considerations during engine start procedure, because it comes handy when we do know what can happen, because as a part of memory item we immediately has to take action to take care of that problem. Okay guys, with that, see you soon in our next video.